Have you ever been so bored you were like, I'm just gonna do something because I'm so bored? Well, most people choose to do something, like simple, like satisfactory or Factorio. But you know what I decided to do? I decided to remake Misato's apartment from Evangelion in Minecraft because I hate myself and I want to die. Some of you might be like, wait, what's Evangelion? Well, the full name is Neon Genesis Evangelion, or simply NGE. But most people say Evangelion just because it's simpler and, well, it's a highlight of the anime. But there are tons of videos going over what the anime is, mostly because of, wait, how old is the show again? The rebuild movies ended in 2021, so they are still pretty relevant, even despite the age of the idea of the show. Also just saying, I hate the rebuild movies ending anyway. If you want to know more details on the show or movies, I would preferably say the show. Just look up a video. It's like there's probably one linked in the description. If not, it's pretty simple to find one that's like 25 minutes going over everything. But let's get into the why did you decide to do this again? Well, a couple weeks ago, I had nothing to do because, Christmas break. School off, And even though I did have work to do over the break, like, I don't know, not schoolwork, but like actual work, I was like, I still have so much free time on my hands, like too much free time. What should I do with it? So, and I was kind of feeling a little burnt out of Minecraft, but I still had an itch to play the game. But I didn't know what it was or what the hell I was meant to do to find it. So I just turned to build something. I just started messing around and I realized, oh wait, yeah, I guess it is building. So I was like, but what do I do? What should I build? So I was thinking, what have I recently been into? What have I been interested in? Evangelion. But what should I build in Evangelion? There's tons of good options, like the Geofront or the Tokyo 3. But the Geofront's a little too open and vague, besides the pyramid, and I don't know, not really speaking. I might, but not now. And then I was like, Tokyo 3, but then that's just basically same building, Control C, Control V all over the place. And some of the angles would be hard to get on everything, because I'm very good at rebuilding things. Really good, based off some very little imagery, but that's mostly because I have already experience with the area. So I was like, what's important of the show, but probably has pretty decent documentation? Misato's apartment. Because that's where Shinji lives, where Asuka lives, and well, obviously Major Katsuragi. And you can't forget Pen Pen. But like, how the heck do you start a project like this? Because, well, it's pretty large because of how little reference material there sometimes can be in certain places. Well, idiot, you start by trying to find good reference material online. Because, well, yeah, you could just pull up the anime or show and go through it and find some pretty good parts yourself. I would prefer to just try to find some photos other people have already taken online for free because it saves me time. And I don't really have a lot of this. So, when I was looking, I did find this one good top down image of the layout of the apartment. I'll probably put that up screen about now or so. I don't know. We'll see. It's pretty good, but I don't know if it's an actual one or just sketches that the team made when they were designing it in the first place. I don't know. But what I do know is that it's pretty accurate to what the show used, so I'm going to use it as a reference material. And with it, I put it through a program that I have to where it will make images into Minecraft Litmatics, so I can mess with scaling of it and maybe colors of it, that sort of thing. It's really useful, especially when you're wanting to maybe see how does this look and how does it feel. It doesn't feel good, quickly replace it with another one and whatnot. Pretty good. It's a little finicky, but gets the job done. So, like, for the starters, this is just what the general layout I got based off of the program is. I did some cleanup here and there because it needed some cleanup, but then I started kind of putting in some bits and bobs here and there, like windows and such, and trying to fit it. And I mean, honestly, I did enjoy this sizing and everything, but something wasn't right. It didn't feel proper, mostly with the restroom. Like the bathroom felt so small and the bathtub. So things changed the next day. On the first day, we ended with this kind of scaling and this size of place. I forget why I made the camera spinning here, but I did. But then I ran the program through again with a different scale factor, which got me this larger segment, which needed a good bit of cleanup, but yeah. So I went through, removed the parts of green that I needed so I could actually easily, remove the background, and it wasn't just white or annoying or something. So I went through, did some of the major cleanup, like, some blocks, because of gradients I thought were there or not, and stuff, and positionings and stuff, simple things. But I mean, near the end of it, I was like, it's nice, it's much better, especially towards the bathroom, but something isn't right. It doesn't feel proper. It feels a little too big. And I felt that mainly because of Misato's room. It felt way too big, and I don't know what to do. So I called in a friend of mine to help after doing a little bit more. Having Arcade there was a really good help because they're a builder and they kind of do a different kind of style and way of building than I do. So having them there to help me with my scaling stuff was really good. And before we started building this at the moment, I had them help me feel like, does this scaling feel right? Does that, whatnot. You probably saw in the background a little bit a couple seconds ago, the green thing. That's the outline. They were helping me with the scaling. But after we felt like, this is nice, we just started going for it. Putting floors in, maybe choosing a wall palette, wall colors and stuff. Shifting some room sizing a little bit to make it feel a little more proper. And just, chatting, because, I'm going to be real, I haven't really been speaking to them as much because of Christmas break. Life's been life, been working a lot, but yeah. So we just got to work actually building the apartment, raising the walls up to make it actually feel like a house, making the windows or doorway segments actually feel like doorways and windows, and then just starting to decorate the simple stuff, like figuring out plants or furniture placements, like the kitchen table or the beds and such. Arcade did the plants. I don't know why, but probably because of how little there is of them around the apartment. I did Pen's fridge. That's pretty much how it is, and did general all over the place, kind of just whatever the hell I felt like based off some of the reference photos. They kind of focused on doing the bathroom and stuff. I kind of just went around to general purpose because someone had to, and this is the only day Arcade actually does help. The rest of it is just me. But I did greatly appreciate Arcade's help because we're actually starting. We're actually doing stuff. And look at this thing. It actually looks like it's coming together now, which is amazing. But this is the end of day 3 of it. This entire project took 20 days, but in reality, it was more like 10. You might be saying to yourself, what do you mean it took 20 days, but in reality 10? Well, the thing is that I decided midway through the project, I want the doors to function. Actually function. I don't want it to be some random stuff, I want it to actually work. So, that's what I did. So, I actually made them function. But because of that, it took quite a while, especially because I didn't really have much motivation. I kind of lost motivation during during it. So, yeah. But anyways, they turned out great. Don't really know what else to say here. They turned out great. And trust me, there will be an entire segment of the video just going over how the hell do they work and breaking it down easily and showing a little bit of the code. Day 3 did have a little bit more stuff done to it than I showed, but that's just because my game crashed when I was recording the flashback footage. So I was just like, I want to do multiple separate things, even though just because it's small stuff. But yeah, but on day 4, I started work on actually, Shinji's room and stuff. So this is what I had so far. I kind of did have to extend and shift the place a little bit, which is why the bed and desk are cut in half at the moment. Don't mind me being frozen. I think I just went AFK during the recording of it sometime. But anyways, but so I kind of went through, put in like Arcade went through, I should say, went through, added kind of like lines of wood for like the Japanese kind of like wood supports or whatnot in the building. I don't really know what they were thinking there, but I do like them, so I kept them and kind of helped expand them. Because at the time I knew of display entities and stuff, but I didn't really know what the hell I was wanting to like do with them or how to incorporate them. So I kind of just didn't use them. I didn't want to. Also, because I knew that they're entities. I didn't want to have tons and tons and tons of entities laying around town doing nothing. And, I continued working, adding those strips in, and kind of just shifting, changing blocks and whatnot where I needed to make things right and proper. And then I went to the rest of the house, kind of continuing, adding those lines, doing the little bits and bobs I needed to do to, make it kind of feel right. And at the time, I was like, yeah, those will be the little line segments, the trims and stuff. But later on down the line, I was like, yeah, no, and actually use the display entities and stuff. You can also see I changed up pens. Fridge pinch, there's no iron door anymore. It's an actual door, like sliding door. It doesn't function just yet, but it will eventually. This will probably be the last one I voice over and just let the time lapse play through. Maybe jumping in here and there just because I'm tired, man. I'm tired of this, and I don't really even have the time to in the first place. But anyways, yeah. So I just went through, finished up Shinji's room because it was the one with the actually besides the kitchen, the most like easy access to seeing like what is actually in there, the most reference photos. Because, well, there's this one major photo, super easy, shows like everything there is in the room. So I just used it as a reference photo, and that's actually what I'm pulling up right now. Looking up, trying to find one to maybe show me some different angles or whatnot. That's what I'm looking for. Or taking shader screenshots. Depends on what it is, Or, and see right now, finishing up, finding good photo, cleaning up, making it look nice. And then I just went to the kitchen, cleaned it up, made the items invisible, and, well, you're gonna see in a couple minutes, counter. But before then, went through, kind of did a little bit more general cleanup, deciding more permanent things like, no wood, not a big fan, and actually decided to put the plants in, those little green trees around the house, and continued more general cleanup and stuff, because, well, yeah, I'm a more spontaneous person. Kind of go bling, 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 bling in a project, going everywhere. I try to focus on one segment, but then I'm like, get sidetracked and then go way off rails. But yeah, see here, now I'm working on finishing up the kitchen and putting the counter in. This will be the last thing I say now. And I'll let you enjoy the rest of the time lapse until day 10, day 20, because that's when things get good. Okay, so this one is special because it's the last day of working on this project. I'm doing the final stuff, which is like the hallway outside and maybe the exterior of the building. We'll see. But yeah, so I just started by putting in some walls in the main hallway around, well, the main entrance I have there. Very early on, I moved everything up into the sky. So I could do something like this, maybe. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just didn't want it to be so low on the ground. So, yeah, most of this project has been me focusing on getting it functional, like the doors, because this is day 20. The last clip was day 10. There was like 10 days of just getting it to function. Even that same day, I was doing some functioning parts of it. A little bit of coding here and there, just getting it functioning in the data pack. But anyways, so I got this main tier done, put in some doors, got the block palette pretty well nicely done. And then I started just stacking it on top of each other, seeing how it looked here and there, and filling in the parts that needed filled in. And then I went around and I was like, block palette, not the biggest fan of like the inside bit, so I changed it to be something more accurate, and I much do prefer it over what I originally had. And to finish it all off, I didn't really know because we don't really ever get to see the main entrance or elevators or maybe in the sketches or whatnot. So I just decided to just the building's going to be really tall and I think have a skylight. So I was like, do this, put fog effect glass on the front roof and floor to make it feel right. And you might notice I used this place to record a segment earlier in the video. Good eye, you people. Now we get to the real fun stuff. This is actually the most fun I had building during this entire project, this day, because it was, well, the end of the project. It was the most entertaining and most separate stuff. I have been just sitting there figuring out why the heck it's not activating the function properly or detecting properly, or it's running in the wrong order for about a week, more than a week. So this was a really nice change of pace and I loved it. But anyways, so I started by just making like base the building, which was really annoying because, well, we don't really get tons of angles or views of the building, or good ones at least. But I worked with what I had and what I assumed. And so yeah. And because this thing is pretty much, well, it's symmetrical, I'm able to do something on one side, paste onto the other, flip and whatnot. So it was pretty easy. But most of the time I was like, does that look go there? Does that not go there? Especially when it was like this early in the project. And you might be telling me, wait, why is it orange and stuff? Why is it that color? Well, I'll tell you this. In one of the photos, I'll probably put it up right now, of the building on the outside during the day, it's actually this kind of color. While at night, it's kind of like this white gray, but at the daytime, it's a bright like orange. So I didn't really know what I wanted to choose, but the orange kind of was, but if I chose with like the white idea, it would have been so bland and boring. And well, I don't want to be boring. So I decided to just choose colored. But yeah, I went through each area kind of making the patio, and one of the photos it showed that like the other housing units kind of just had their windows kind of like barricaded up, and only like Misato was in there. So that's why I kind of just made the windows look like. So yeah, and didn't really put anything on the balconies because I don't remember there being anything. But yeah, I just went around posting them on every single segment. And then those little areas I think were meant to be windows, so I just covered them up, made them look like they're blast shielded, because that's what they're meant to be. And then I worked on like the actual front, I think it is, of the building. It appears that way. But yeah, so I found some reference, brought it up, and just started working on it. I was watching a really good long video at the time, so I was able to just kind of like zone out, just get to work. And then I realized, oh wait, it's on a 2-block center. Let's center that. So I shifted it, did some changes, but then I realized, oh wait, it's too short. That's way too short. It's meant to be tall. So I needed to, expand the building. So I did. I grew it by at least 3 tiers, which gave me a good headroom and made it actually about the size I needed it to in the end. And I'm really happy about that. And because, like I said, it's symmetrical on all sides, Control C, Control V. Boom. Super easy, super simple. And well, pretty much with this, well, the building's pretty close to finish. There's not much more. So I just finished up the top. I assume that the top has a skylight in the middle of it, shining down through the center. So that's what I added. Glass with fog effect through the middle of it, so you can see the inside, because well, the inside's empty. It's empty. Obviously this building isn't really proper or thick enough or tons of other things, but I think this entire project has turned out pretty good. I'm working on the front here again, just kind of working on the detailing of it, but overall this project, I spent a lot of work on it, and for a project I did out of just passion and for fun, because I was burnt out and needed something to do, I think it's turning out great. And did turn out great. Yeah, if I could go back and change a thing or two, I would, but overall, I think it's fine. So yeah, but I copied and pasted it over here and made another copy, but this one white, with the, more white block palette, so at night it looked gray. And I put detailing work, finished up the front, and then copied it over and, changed the block palette. And then I sat tonight and did the little red lights that are on the building, on the bits there. Copied it, pasted it, changed the block palette. And that's pretty much it. That's everything. For the building of it, that is.
I thought it would be best to just make a live demonstration here. So for the door mechanism, it's broken into 3 kind of major parts, and I'm going to explain the basic of it right here. For starters, you have the interaction entity itself. You right click it, it detects. You punch it, it'll detect. In this situation, we're only detecting right click because that's really when you're opening a door, you're right clicking. But the thing is right here, well, there's nothing happening. What do you do with this? Like really, what can you do? That's where this comes in. On the right there, you see the scoreboard showed up. With these 3 command blocks, you're able to detect, ooh, hey, this entity got right-clicked, increase the scoreboard value for it by 1. And then I right-click again, it resets it to 0. Now we have an on and an off state. So, with that, we can move on to the third. After I kill. With the third, I have 3 different segments, as if it was a 3-part door, or a 2-part door. It doesn't really matter, because each segment would be a little different, and either way, the door mechanisms are a little different. But the main concept is this. You right-click one, the next one gets teleported down, because it's in the open state. And then you can right-click this one, the next one gets teleported down, the previous one gets teleported up, because it's in the open state right now. And then, boom. And then you can go backwards like bling, bling, bling. But then, what do you do with the values? Yeah, we have the values, but there's nothing being activated with the values. That's where the execute if entity specify the tag the entity will have, because each of these interaction entities have their own tag, which is why they can all be differentiated on the scoreboard. So this one is group 1, 2, and 3. So if the score for an entity, which would be interaction entity, and has the tag group 1, was to be score 1, we could then say run function the close for door 1. Or if it's 0, close. If it's 1, open. And then with that, and then in the opening function, we can have it teleport down the second one and do whatever we want. One of those things we want to do is also remove the entities from the scoreboard, because while having them always be at 0 or 1 can mess up the functions, because, well, they're always checking, is it at 1, is it at 0? But if they're at 0, then it's going to mess up because it's going to try to set it in a certain state in which it can't be. That was actually a bug we had with the system when I was testing and getting it to work. But you know what? It turned out just fine. So I mean, I don't really know what to say here other than, well, told you so. I don't know why I would tell you so, but I told you so. It works perfectly fine. Like, look at this. Look at this. Perfectly. You can see on the right there, detecting. And it sets. And it resets too. This one. And this is the one that gets interesting. See? Bling bling. Does the teleporting up and down segment. Showing, and it does the resetting of them and everything. It's a perfect example of it. And then these two are that, but smaller. See? Elegant solution, and it took me 2 weeks to figure out how to do and fully and properly set up. And if you want to know how can I not go through it when it's closed? Oh my goodness. It's called saving it with a structure block and integrating it into the data pack. So when it's closing, it will just place the specific structure block, structure file, whatever, down in the doorway, which will be barriers. Or no barriers, depending if it's open or closed. That is pretty much everything that is to be discussed or shared in regards with this project. I spent a long time on this entire thing, and honestly, this was out of pure boredom and I not having anything to do. Like at the start of the video I said, but the thing is, I kind of got a little burnt out of playing survival Minecraft and really kind of Minecraft in general, and I wanted just something to do. So I decided to just build, because, building is a big thing I like to do on the side. But I needed to do something, so I decided to just build. Probably said this earlier in the video, but good to restate after, seeing a lot of building and that very horrible explanation of the functionality. But it worked, it did its job. Now, if you want to suggest what the hell should I do next, because honestly, I have genuinely goddamn no clue what I'm going to do. Do I want to do the Geofront? Or do I want to do something completely different universe? Like FNAF. If it's FNAF, I've done that too many times, then I'll be doing it modded, so... But what do I want to do? Could be anything. Literally could be satisfactory, too. Would be interesting. Would be interesting. Suggest in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe. I don't care. I'm gonna kill myself.